So we've got about 4 minutes left of our time. So we've got 4 panelists and 4 minutes left. Just in a minute, what would each one of you like to leave our audience with, both our audience here and our audience who is with us virtually? So Karthik, why don't we start with you?
Thank you for having this forum. I think it's been so timely in unexpected ways. I'm a parent of 2 relatively young boys, 6 and 9. They were in the audience a little bit earlier. And it's a bit of a challenge to know how to talk about it with children. We can't really insulate them from this conversation because it is so vital. And politics has invaded our schools in so many ways, from chants of build the wall when Latino teams, predominant Latino teams show up to high school basketball games, to children wearing Trump masks for Halloween, and a lot of violence and hatred happening in schools, outside of schools. So I think it's important for us, especially as Stewart said, to stand up, to speak up, to fight, to stop, and to think about who else is watching and listening. Because being bystanders is not an acceptable solution. And I think one of the things, we just had a strategy call yesterday with some of these organizers of sanctuary efforts in various parts of the country, is to maybe bring back this notion of satyagraha, right? This Gandhian notion, where we do come in between injustice and the targets of injustice, and be willing to pay the price for it, and hope that our employers that will excuse us for doing that. Because if they don't support us, then ultimately we should be willing to pay some of the price, because the alternative is a far worse outcome.
Paul.
I just want to thank you and all the panelists, and thank you, the audience, because I know you're people who care. I'm sure that each one of you will find a way in the weeks and months ahead to stand between somebody who's vulnerable and jeopardy. And if you are a person who is in jeopardy, and I'm sure there are some here, don't be alone with it. Prepare yourself. I've got some materials here that I can share with you that come from legal sources. I am not offering legal advice. He can do that. 1 minute. I'm still less than a minute. I got 5 seconds left. But get the protection you need. Don't do things that are dangerous. And don't be alone with it.
My parting words are to find of course I'm happy to be here and thankful for the conversation to start, and I think you need to find the space in the battle where you belong, and I think at all levels, so there's no one right path. Some people may need to get arrested, some people may be fighting in Congress, some people may be closing down businesses, some people can open their purses and just donate for other people to carry on that battle. So there are some passive ways to get involved if you don't know how to stand in the street or you're not a marcher, that you can financially support organizations that are marchers or people who are fighting the detention battles and the other sort of ways to get involved. So you can look at all types of ways to get involved, and we need the full spectrum.
Well, I want to thank you for organizing this as well. And I do feel that the fight that's going to happen over the next 4 years cannot be successful if we just stay in silos. We have to come together. I was just talking to some friends that we have to start convening together. We're doing a solicitation. We're not just asking for money, we're asking for volunteers. We already have 600 volunteers, but we want to double that. We want to triple that. We want to aid other people in their efforts, which we're doing now too. So it cannot be won by silos. Let's unite together. Let's unite for love and humanity and justice, because this is for our families. This is for our future. This is for our children, and this is for our country. So thank you.
So thank you, Stewart and Alan and Paul and Karthick, for this extraordinary conversation. You know, as I've heard your closing remarks in this round, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with Nelson Mandela. It was many, many years ago. And one of our most beloved leaders in the African National Congress was assassinated, and we were pretty devastated, and I was weeping, and he came up to me and he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said to me, "Wipe those tears now. Don't mourn, mobilize." So that's what I leave you with. Don't mourn, mobilize. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for the National Archive, and it's been an honor for me to have moderated this panel. Thank you.